What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Blender. I'm Warren Thompson. Thanks for stopping by today. We have some big news about Spider-Man 4, specifically coming from Tom Holland, Peter Parker himself. And I gotta say, we have to give props to Tom Holland. He's come a long way from Spoiler Man, where he would kind of spoil things about upcoming movies, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, upcoming Spider-Man movies. He has certainly come a very long way, and obviously he has been coached, but obviously he has grown and matured and is pretty solid when it comes to interviews now, when it comes to giving out information about upcoming Spider-Man or Marvel movies that he is a part of. Now, I say this because Tom Holland does have a great update for us today about Spider-Man 4, but at the same time, he does not give away too much information, and in a couple of different interviews, he even says, I can't say anything about this. So he's come a long way, but he also has kind of changed his mind about a statement that he made in the past. Something that he said in the past was along the lines of, I shouldn't be playing Spider-Man for the rest of my life. And of course, he didn't mean this as, I don't like the character, I'm gonna get bored with the character, I am bored with the character. He simply meant it as, he should pass down that mantle to somebody else at some point in time. He should move along with his acting career, and the character of his specific Peter Parker in the MCU should also evolve and also move on. However, in one of the recent interviews that we're going to talk about, this is what he had to say. I feel like my agents and I have navigated the industry in a really good way over the last 10 years. But that said, if I just play Spider-Man for the rest of my life, I'd still be the luckiest kid alive. So there's no complaints from me here. So Tom Holland right now is super happy still playing Spider-Man, Peter Parker, which is great because based off of what we've heard so far, he has signed a new deal to play Spider-Man, or I should say to continue to play Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, possibly in the Sonyverse as well, but he'll have a lot to do with the MCU alone. 3 more Spider-Man films, Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6, 2 more Avengers films, Kang, Dynasty, and Secret Wars, and 1 more project that we're really unsure about so far, but another team-up project. So let's talk about what he said in these recent interviews, giving us a little bit of an update about Spider-Man 4, specifically talking about the script. Also, reminder, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, and if you subscribe and leave a comment, you're entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, or some DC items. We pick 1 winner at the end of each month, and the winner gets to pick 1 item. So this first interview that we're going to talk about is an interview with Inverse, and this was for The Crowded Room, a project that Tom Holland recently starred in and actually produced himself. Now, this project took a lot out of him. He said both physically and mentally, and due to how hard this project was, Tom Holland said that he was taking a break from acting for a year. Just a year. He's not done with acting altogether. He is returning as Spider-Man, and in fact, he is talking about returning as Spider-Man in this interview, so don't worry about that. And if you didn't know, Spider-Man 4 it probably isn't coming until 2025 anyway, so he has time to take off. But at the same time, they are not simply ignoring Spider-Man 4, because it sounds like he is physically taking time off of acting, meaning he's not going to be actually acting or doing any stunts or performances or anything like that, but he is still meeting about the script, about the story, about where Spider-Man 4 is going to go. And he basically confirms that by stating that he's already met with the studios about the next Spider-Man films. Now, in this Inverse interview, when he was asked about the story of Spider-Man 4 and the project in general, he stated, whether or not it'll come to fruition, who knows? But right now, it's looking pretty good, and we'll just have to wait and see. Now, I kind of want to just say, ignore that first part. Spider-Man 4 is happening, and what's really interesting is that Sony and Marvel Studios already both told us. They actually told us like a week after Spider-Man No Way Home released. Sony executive producer Amy Pascal and Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige came out and stated they have already begun working on Spider-Man 4, the next movie. Plus, not to mention, in the interviews for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, again, Sony executive producer Amy Pascal came out and said, yes, they are working on the next Spider-Man film right now. And in another interview for The Crowded Room, Tom Holland actually had a different answer. It was before this interview, and he stated that they have met about the movie. It is in development, but they stopped because of the WGA strike. So this first part where he says whether or not it'll come to fruition, who knows, I think that's simply to keep people on their toes and not really give too much away. Like I said, Tom Holland's come a pretty long way from Spoiler Man. In fact, in a separate interview with Yahoo, they asked him about the next Spider-Man movie, and he says, I'm going to have to plead the fifth here because I'm not prepared to start talking about the future of Spider-Man. Really kind of just shutting it down right away. He doesn't want to say too much. He doesn't want to give anything away, not say anything he's not supposed to. However, he does go on to say in this interview with Yahoo, as everyone knows, I love him. He changed my life. I love the character. Should we find a way to tell his story and do justice to him, we will do so. But if we can't find a way to do that, and if we can't find a way to compete with the third one, then, he'll swing off into the sunset. Now again, I believe what he is saying is true, but don't let that fool you. They are making a Spider-Man 4. But I believe what he is saying is true. They need to do Spider-Man justice or it's not really going to work for him. But luckily for us, we kind of know the direction that they are going to take Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. One, we've heard that he's going to be one of the leads for both Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and Avengers Secret Wars. Now, don't be confused with the leader of these movies. He is simply going to be one of the lead actors, not the leader of the new Avengers team that will most likely fall to somebody like Bruce Banner or Captain America, Sam Wilson. If Hawkeye jumps back into the mix of it, he's one of the OGs as well. Or perhaps Doctor Strange is the one that steps up. But no doubt, they're going to offer Tom Holland a lot of money to return as Spider-Man and star in these two new Avengers films that we have coming up. But as far as the Spider-Man films are concerned, they have already teased Venom, and I'm sure this is something that Tom Holland is not going to want to turn down, a chance to get the Venom symbiote or fight against Venom himself. And that was the teaser after Spider-Man No Way Home. That's what they set up. Plus, not to mention, at the same time, they are setting up Kingpin to be a major Spider-Man villain. And not just a Spider-Man villain, but just a big bad in general as a part of the MCU. He appeared in Hawkeye, he is now going to appear in the Echo series, and of course he's going to be the big bad of the Daredevil series. And hopefully this is building up to a Spider-Man Daredevil team up to go up against Kingpin, possibly a Sinister Six, both of which would be just crazy awesome to see on screen and would be a fantastic story that would do Spider-Man himself justice. So right now we have two different storylines that are going to happen in the MCU, Venom and Kingpin. At least that is what Marvel Studios' plan seems to be. Of course, those plans can always change, but having Tom Holland's Peter Parker get the Venom symbiote is going to be awesome. Hopefully he gets this in Secret Wars like he does in the comics. And hopefully we get a project or a solo movie where he uses it for good and uses the strength of it to defeat whoever he is fighting, and then eventually has to kind of fight the symbiote himself, get rid of it, then it jumps to Eddie Brock, and then he fights Eddie Brock and Venom. Heck, maybe at some point in time, he even uses the Venom symbiote to fight against Kingpin. Imagine Venom symbiote Spider-Man fighting alongside Daredevil, going up against Kingpin. That would be insane, and something that I definitely think Tom Holland would really enjoy, and something that would progress the character. Plus, we already know that Zendaya is returning for Spider-Man 4 as well. This is confirmed, and I'm sure Tom Holland wants to work with Zendaya again, and I'm sure they want to finish that story because the last time we left them in the MCU, MJ had no idea who Peter Parker was, and if Zendaya is returning for the film, that most likely means that that spell's going to be undone in some way, shape, or form, or perhaps they loved each other so much that MJ starts to simply remember who Peter Parker is. Who knows? The point is there's a lot of story left to tell, and Tom Holland wants to tell that story. He just needs it to be a good story, but we already know the movie's confirmed. They're working on it. Tom Holland has renewed his contract. He's simply trying to play it safe by stating, hey, maybe we'll make the movie. Hey, yeah, maybe I'll come back. I plead the fifth. I can't talk about it. This is just his way of stating, hey, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to talk about the movie because, hey, I've gotten in trouble in the past. So have no fear. Spider-Man 4 is happening. Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6 are happening. And apparently the story for Spider-Man 4 right now is really good. Tom Holland is really excited about it. And we are too. We can't wait to see it. It's supposed to come out before the Kang Dynasty, according to some insiders, but we'll have to wait and see on that release date. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest Spider-Man news. Don't forget to enter our giveaway and follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. We're also on Patreon. We'll link our Patreon, our website, and our Discord server down below if you want to help support the channel. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.